Aelion, a young man with eyes the color of the summer sky, tilled the fields. His life was simple, filled with the rhythms of the earth. He knew the feel of sun-warmed soil in his hands, the scent of freshly turned earth. He was content, yet a restlessness stirred within him.
One day the wind carried a whisper to my ears. It spoke of a distant land shrouded in shadow. It spoke of a darkness threatening to consume all light.
The whisper sent shivers down Aelion's spine, igniting a spark of fear within him. That night he dreamt of a swirling vortex, its colors shifting and changing like oil on water. He saw a city of gold and silver, its towers reaching for a sky obscured by smoke. He woke with a gasp, the dream clinging to him like cobwebs.
The next day, the whisper returned, stronger this time. It spoke of a prophecy, of a hero destined to banish the encroaching darkness. The whisper filled me with a sense of dread, but also with a glimmer of hope.
The village elder, a woman with eyes as old as time itself, confirmed his fears. She spoke of an ancient evil, long dormant, now stirring in its slumber. She revealed the prophecy, whispered through generations, of a young man with sky-blue eyes.
Fear threatened to consume me, yet I knew what I had to do. I had to leave the familiar comfort of my village, my home. I had to answer the call, to face the encroaching darkness.
He spent the next few days saying goodbye. His parents, their faces etched with worry, bestowed upon him their blessings. His childhood friend Ilara, with eyes the color of the forest after a rain shower, gifted him a hand-woven scarf. With a heavy heart, Aelion left his village behind. He set off towards the east, towards the swirling vortex of his dreams. He carried with him the hopes and fears of his village, the weight of the prophecy heavy on his shoulders. His journey led him through treacherous mountains and across sun-baked deserts. He faced hunger, thirst, and the constant threat of wild beasts. Yet he pressed on, driven by the whisper of the wind and the memory of his dream. He arrived at the foot of Mount Cerelia, its peak shrouded in mist. The wind whispered of trials that awaited him within the mountain's depths. He took a deep breath and entered the echoing caves, his heart pounding in his chest.
The caves were dark and damp, the air thick with the smell of moss and decay. I stumbled through the darkness, my hand tracing the rough walls for guidance. I could hear the scurrying of unseen creatures, their eyes glowing faintly in the darkness.
Deep within the mountain's heart, he found a cavern illuminated by phosphorescent fungi. In the center of the cavern stood a towering statue, its features eroded by time. It depicted a warrior, his hand outstretched towards a swirling vortex of energy. As Aelion approached the statue, the ground began to tremble. The air crackled with energy, and the vortex in the statue's hand flared to life. A booming voice echoed through the cavern, challenging Aelion to prove his worth.
The voice belonged to Sorel, the guardian of the mountain, a being of pure energy. Sorel tested my strength, my courage, and my resolve. He conjured illusions, testing my perception of reality. He unleashed waves of fire, forcing me to rely on my agility and cunning.
Aelion fought with every ounce of his being. He refused to yield, drawing strength from the memory of his village, the weight of the prophecy. He realized that his journey was not only about facing a physical darkness, but also the darkness within himself. He emerged from the trial, singed and exhausted but victorious. Cyril, impressed by his spirit, deemed him worthy. He bestowed upon Aelion a gift, a sword forged from moonlight, its blade shimmering with an ethereal glow. Section 5. The Whispering Woods. With renewed purpose, Aelion continued his journey. He followed the whispers of the wind, leading him to the edge of the Whispering Woods.
The trees here are ancient, their branches gnarled and twisted, their leaves rustling with secrets untold.
The forest was eerily silent, save for the sound of his own footsteps. The air hung heavy with a sense of foreboding. He felt unseen eyes watching him, their gaze cold and calculating.
I know I'm being tested once more.
He pressed on, his hand resting on the hilt of his moonlit sword. He could feel the sword thrumming with power, its energy reassuring. He was no longer the same boy who had left his village. He had faced his fears, proven his worth.
As I venture deeper into the forest, I encounter strange and wondrous creatures.
He saw a stag with antlers woven from moonlight, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. He encountered a spider, its web spun from threads of shadow, its gaze filled with ancient wisdom. Section 6, a choice to make. He came across a clearing, bathed in an unnatural darkness. In the center stood a figure shrouded in shadow, its voice a low and seductive purr.
I offer you power beyond your wildest dreams, Aelion. A chance to end your journey before it truly begins.
The figure, a manifestation of the encroaching darkness, tempted Aelion with visions of glory, of a world free from suffering. It promised him an end to his quest, a life free from the burden of prophecy.
Imagine a world without suffering, Aelion. All this could be yours.
Aelion was torn. He had seen the toll his journey had taken, felt the weight of responsibility heavy on his shoulders. The darkness offered him an alluring escape, a chance to return to a life of simplicity.
But I remember the faces of my village, the fear in their eyes, the hope they have placed in me. I remember the warmth of the sun on my face, the feel of the earth beneath my fingers.
He realized that true strength lay not in power, but in resisting its allure.
He drew his sword, its moonlight blade slicing through the darkness. Section 7, the Ascent.
The figure hissed in anger, its form shifting and contorting as it unleashed its fury. He refused the darkness's offer, choosing instead the path of hardship, the path of hope. He chose to fight for the light, for the world he knew and loved.
The clearing crackled with dark energy, the air thick with the smell of ozone. Trees withered and died as the darkness swept over them. Aelion fought back, his sword a beacon of light against the encroaching darkness. He moved with a speed and grace he never knew he possessed, his movements guided by instinct and fueled by his unwavering resolve. He fought his way through the heart of the Whispering Woods, each step a victory. He climbed the mountain of despair, his spirit unbroken. He knew that his journey was nearing its end, but he also knew that the greatest challenge still awaited him. Section 8. Victory's Embrace. Finally, he reached his destination, the ruins of a once great city, now consumed by the encroaching darkness. The air here was heavy with despair, the silence broken only by the mournful howl of the wind.
He stood before a swirling vortex of darkness, its energy pulsing with malevolent intent. He could feel the darkness trying to ensnare him, to drag him down into its depths. He knew that this was the source of the encroaching shadow, the heart of the ancient evil.
He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and charged into the vortex. He fought his way through waves of darkness, his sword a blur of moonlight. He could feel the darkness trying to break him, to extinguish the light that burned within him. But Aelion refused to yield.
He fought with the fury of a cornered animal, the desperation of a man fighting for his life, his world. He poured all his strength, all his hope, into one final, desperate attack.
Section 9. The Price of Peace. His sword found its mark, piercing the heart of the vortex. The darkness screamed, a sound filled with rage and agony, and then began to recede. The air crackled one last time, and then silence descended upon the ruined city.
Aelion collapsed to his knees, his body drained, his spirit spent. He had done it. He had vanquished the darkness, fulfilled the prophecy. But his victory had come at a cost.
He looked down at his hands, now scarred and weathered, and realized that he was no longer the same boy who had set out on this journey. He had seen the best and worst of humanity, faced his fears, and emerged stronger.
He had found love, lost it, and learned to carry the pain with him. He had discovered the true meaning of sacrifice, the weight of responsibility. He had saved his world, but in doing so, he had lost his innocence.
Section 10. A New Dawn. He looked up at the sky, now clear and bright, and felt a sense of peace settle over him. The world was safe for now. He had done what he was meant to do. His journey was over.
He left the ruined city behind, his steps lighter now, his heart filled with a bittersweet joy. He walked towards the rising sun, towards a future uncertain but full of hope. He carried with him the memories of his journey, the lessons learned, the scars that would forever remind him of the darkness he had faced. He walked on, a solitary figure silhouetted against the dawn, a testament to the enduring power of courage, hope, and the human spirit.
His journey was over, but his story, the story of Aelion, the boy who saved the world, was just beginning.